Well, I'm Mel B. I'm a published photographer here in Atlanta. I'm an entrepreneur, a motivator, just a regular guy. Growing up, the biggest event that had the most impact on me was probably church. Being in church all my life. That had to be one of the most liberating but depressing moments of my life. We were structured to think a certain way that really wasn't the norm of how you're supposed to be raised. And so growing up, that kind of impacted me because it had me thinking a certain type of way that really wasn't the best way to think. So growing up, church was a healing process for me, but because my grandma was a pastor as well, it was really a depressing part because all we saw was church, 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 and I never really saw the reality of life until I got older and kind of escaped that part of it. So that impacted who I am now because I view things a lot differently now from when I was growing up. Coming out of church, I realized there was wealth outside of church. There was wealth in entrepreneurship, there was wealth in art, there was wealth in getting to know people that really weren't per se Christians. Like there's a lot of things that you can pursue outside of being in church all the time. So it really opened my eyes to see that there's more than what religion has really put, our minds to think. So yeah, that is like the number one thing that kind of impacted me and kind of builded me to be who I am now, to kind of think outside the box. So I found my passion for photography by mistake. In high school, I used to play with a flip phone, a Verizon flip phone, and I used to take little photos on it. Now, they weren't called selfies back then because you couldn't turn your phone like straight forward, so it was the back camera. And so I would be in the mirror and I would take pictures like that, but I would take the photo and then I would jump and put the photo on the computer and I would go to this thing, I don't know if people remember, called PicMonkey. And used to go in there and edit the photos, and I used to be a music head back then, so everything was like an album cover for me. So I would go on and do that. But when I got into high school, it was a last minute project. We were told to do a internship, like a mini internship for our school project, our senior project. And I actually interned for Derek Blanks. And when I went in and I saw that he was shooting, I was like, oh, okay, people actually make money from this, and it's actually something that makes people feel good. So that's where I found my passion. And then it did speak to me when I found out that people like to really take photos, and it helps boost their confidence and who they are and build brands. And it got a little bit bigger for me when I realized you can actually be somebody and make money with the art. So it's my passion for sure, but it was something that I kind of like mistakenly got into, and I'm happy I got into it though. Oh, definitely. Learning is a part of the process. Like you can't really grow if you're not really willing to accept that there are areas where you have to grow. And so with me learning how to retouch a lot more and even perfecting my craft, there were times where I had to send off things and send off work and get opinions from people that really didn't make me feel comfortable, but it kind of enforced for me to really learn and do it the right way. We all sometimes think that the way that we're doing things because we're getting certain results is the best way for us to do it. But when you really think about it, there's different areas in everybody's lives and everybody's careers and everybody's craft where you have to sit and analyze and say, okay, well, this is my great part, but this is not my greatest. And that's what I really learned when it came to retouching. I took an 18-hour course at home. I stayed at home and locked myself in, and I really tried some different things with Dodge and Burn tool. And it was very discouraging because I thought my work was pretty dope before I learned how to really retouch. But then when I started to really grasp the concept of Dodge and Burn and things like that, I kind of realized, okay, well, my stuff started to look a lot cleaner. But it wasn't just me that told me that I needed to improve on that. It was other people that were in the industry and really know what an image is supposed to look like. So growth is important though. I mean, I feel like the first part of growing is accepting where you have to grow it. The second part of growing is actually doing it. And the third part is still being able to, while still in the growing process, receive some feedback that you may not be comfortable with. So I think growing is important in every aspect of a career, of life. I mean, if you're not growing, you're stagnant and you're not really prospering or making any changes. And life is a element of growth. So if you're not growing, it's a problem for sure. No, I never went to school for photography. It was very discouraging. I did get accepted to most of all the schools that I applied to, but because of financial reasons, I never went to college. And it actually kind of worked out you know, no shade to nobody that went to college because I love school. Um, but I feel like if I would have kind of went that route when I first got out of high school, I probably would be nowhere where I'm at right now. Because it kind of pushed me and molded me. You know, education is important. I definitely don't discount that. I'm going to go to school at some point. But um, when you find your passion and something that you're very passionate about, um, God, in a sense, will align you with those things if you keep working hard with it, and He'll open doors and opportunity, and you'll be able to create opportunity that sometimes education won't allow you to kind of reach. And so I've been able to really expand my career and my brand based on hard work, my personality, and just really accepting that you're gonna fail some stuff, but you'll be able to grow from it. You know, I take losses as a lesson and not so much as a loss. And people say that all the time, like take a L as a win, and that's what I really believe. I take a L as a win because I'm not really losing anything. I'm winning. I'm learning something. So, you know, I think education is important, but I didn't go to school. It's kind of, I regret not going to school for the social aspect, because now that I'm 20, 25, I'll be 26 soon. I'm just now becoming sociable, which I feel like is a late bloomer thing because you become that person when you're like 18 to 21 in college. So that's the only reason why I wish I would have went to school after high school. But other than that, I mean, it's been a pretty straight course for me. Well, it's very important to get out and network with people. I have a very interesting story because for years, if you know me and you follow me on social media, you know I don't post anything about going to a club or anything like that because I don't get out. I didn't get out. I had to learn that I needed to do those things because your network is your net worth. And the moment that I realized that I wasn't really bumping into the people that were actually going to be able to assist me in getting into those positions is when I was like, okay, yeah, I got to really suck it up and kind of be a little bit sociable. Now you have to socialize with the right people. To me, iron sharpens iron. So I like to connect myself with people that are in the same position as me or who may be more advanced, or even people that may not be in the same position. They can still teach you something, but people that are knowledgeable and have wisdom can really help you, put you in a different position. So, you know, the whole purpose of me doing the whole mixer that I'm doing is for people to come in and iron to sharpen iron. You know, I don't want it to be a situation where people don't feel like they could talk to anybody in the room about whatever experience that they have going on, or if they're interested in getting into something, you know. The biggest thing for me is I had to learn how to open my mouth, and I'm a very quiet, shy person most times. So, you know, networking is important. Absolutely. The caption that I posted on Instagram, what lasts long won't come easy, is a definite testament of my life, like for sure. In that moment when I posted it, I just wanted to let everybody know that, listen, it may be some interesting things and some hard things that you may be going through right now, but we all have an ultimate goal that we're trying to reach, and those things never come easy. Again, like I was speaking earlier, there's lessons in everything that we're doing, and if you're growing, there's going to be difficult parts in your growing process that really are not for your right now situation, but are for what's going on later, or what's to come, because we all have a goal that we're kind of pushing to. And so the things that we learned a year, 2 years back to now is something that we can apply to a better advanced person of who we are later. And so what lasts long doesn't come easy at all. You're going to fight, you're going to push, you're going to cry. You know, I've been broke, I've been homeless before, I've been without friends and family, and all of those things have really shaped me to be who I am now. And I'm sure it's things that I'm fighting and going through right now that'll push me to a different level later on in my career. But for sure, I think people have a misconception of success in social media. Our celebrity people really show that things could rise at a certain time, but I don't think Instagram allows you to see what people want you to see. They don't show the process of when it get ugly, and it gets ugly. And I don't think people really show that. So there's this popcorn mentality that social media has, that everything is just going to happen. If you put in the work for 5 days, you're going to get some results. I've been working for 5 years, and this is the busiest that I've ever been in my career. Like, I've been working consistently for 5 years. There have been moments where I've been booked once in a month, you know, where now I'm booked 10 times plus in a month, and I don't really have to post on social media. I don't have to work as hard, but it took time to get to those levels, and people don't show that on social media. I feel like I show it. I'm not really, I don't constrain myself with my struggles. I think that's the best way to kind of win people over and be transparent, is to really show where you're struggling at. Because how am I gonna help you if I'm a perfect person? I can't help a person. I can't help you be the best person that you want to be if I'm a perfect person. I'm not perfect at all. You can't learn from a perfect person, because they're never going to show what the struggle is. So, yeah. There's a lot I want to invest in. I really want to invest in a lot of stuff that's going to make me more money. But if it had to come to the passion part of it, of inspiring people, the thing that I would want to invest in is, I'm real big on depression. I'm big on mental health. I feel like a lot of people in our community, especially in our art form, don't really talk about it. We all struggle through that depression part of being a creative. I mean, it's the money aspect, it's the people aspect, and it's the aspect of just not being busy sometimes. So one of the things I really want to invest in on long term, I want to open an art center that focuses on art, that focuses on entrepreneurship, because there's a lot of people that want to do it that don't really have the resources or really the people to tell them how to do it. And I also want to focus on mental health, because that's important. I feel like you have to nip that in the bud when you're younger. I remember being 10 and 11 years old and not understanding why I felt the way that I felt about certain things, not knowing that it was depression and it was anxiety, and those things stem from a lot of other things, but I really am passionate about that. That's like my biggest thing. And one thing I'm gonna do for my followers is, I'm a singer first, record a single eventually. So the advice that I would give to other entrepreneurs, and especially photographers, would be, don't be afraid to link up with other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. In this community, there's a lot of restraint as it pertains to connecting with other people. And I feel like the restraint comes from thinking that you're not going to be able to achieve a goal that another person has achieved. Everybody has their different path and different way. And so if you really focus on what your purpose is and your goals, then, I hate to sound spiritual, because I am a spiritual church person, but I'm not a churchy person. But I feel like God would align you in a certain position for you to be where you're supposed to be. You could be around 5 different photographers who do the same thing and may have the same skill as you, but because of your want and your worth ethic, you could be put in a better position than they are, just because of that. And that's been my life. I've been around people that have been more seasoned in this than I have, and I've been given bigger opportunities. And most times it's not because of my work. It's most times because of my personality and because I know how to treat people with kindness. And when you develop that, then you'll be able to really succeed. So don't be afraid to really connect with other people. That's a stigma that I'm trying to break within myself, because I'm very much so to myself. I'm really trying to bring people together, which is the purpose of my mixer as well. I'm trying to break that mold. So don't be afraid to connect with other people. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be confused and lost. Nobody has all the answers. You won't even have all the answers. And I like to say, at the end of the day, our life is a blueprint. So whatever you're failing and messing up with, take the opportunity to correct it, but you can extend those different events in your life of where you feel like you have failed to another person where it will help them advance. So that's my advice. My superpower would be to read people's minds. The reason my superpower would be for me to read people's minds would be so I want to check what people want to say before they actually say it. Like, I don't know, I think some people want to be slick with you, and I want to hear it sometimes in my head first before I know how to respond. I don't know, I feel like that would be kind of like so I won't have to deal with bull, Like, I would definitely want to hear or know what a person thinks so I can know if they foul or not before I kind of like interact. So that would be my superpower.